Hello and welcome back to the garden and back to the white garden in autumn, and it's a gorgeous day. The week of rain is behind us and we've got blue skies, lots of sunshine and dry weather. Although it's quite shaded here this time of year in the white garden because the sun is low in the sky and of all the trees around me. But it's lovely and cool. The conditions are ideal for gardening. It's around about 14 degrees in centigrade, which is around about the mid-50s in Fahrenheit. So it's ideal gardening weather. You'll have seen earlier in the video I put together a couple of these wreaths just by using hedge clippings from the garden. I used laurel hedge clippings and I wove them into this wreath. This is just one of those woven wreaths from the craft store. Didn't have to use glue or wire. It took me about 5 minutes just to put 2 together. I did cut a few spent blooms from the milk parsley behind me, and they made pretty additions too. So I'm going to use those to decorate in the courtyard in the white garden. So the video today is all about updating some existing containers, planting up some new ones, and just adding some lovely autumnal touches to the white garden. So let me go and get the first container that I want to update. So the first job is to move this pot out of the container. Hopefully I should be able to manage it myself because it's quite heavy. Oh! Container planting is one of my favourite jobs in the garden. I just love to make pots, containers up for all different seasons. And I've found in recent years I'm having more enjoyment from adding perennials and shrubs to containers and not just having semi-permanent plants. I like something more permanent that gives me structure right through the whole season, not just in the spring or the summer, but for the whole year. And this pot was based around that. I added this Fatsia japonica this time last year. This is spider's web. At the same time I added as a spill, I added the ivies across the front around the pot, and also the Carex grass, which I think is Everest, and that gave me a good permanent structure for this pot. And then during the seasons I've mixed and changed and updated it by adding seasonal plants. In the winter I added pansies, violas. In the spring I pulled those and added primulas, and then in early summer I pulled those and I added white different annuals. Lobelia, verbena, all different white annuals. But you can see these are now spent and finished, so it's that time again to add something new. So I'm going to pull this and show you what I've got to add. Now I'm just pulling out the grass too, the Carex grass, just so I can add some fresh compost around the pot. That will go back. Now I've added the compost and I'm just going to put back this Carex grass. Hopefully it should enjoy the new compost. And then I'm going to add the next plant, which is a bit more of a permanent one, hopefully, if it survives the winter, is a Senecio angel wings. And that's this one here. Now I'm going to take my gloves off to keep the leaves clean, because this plant is incredibly pretty and it's quite hardy in my climate, as long as it's not waterlogged. It doesn't like to stay wet in the winter. So if you've got waterlogged ground, I wouldn't recommend it to last. You'd have to give it protection in the winter, take it into a greenhouse. But in a pot, I should be able to manage that more carefully. And if we do have an exceptionally cold spell, I'll take the container out and put it into the potting shed for however long that really cold weather might last. And that will just go in here, and I think it will give a lovely permanent display. Time to put this back into its container. Just in case you were wondering if I was going to leave it in this dirty old plastic pot. I'm going to add 2 new containers to the white garden this autumn with evergreen shrubs. Both of the same plants will be used, but the centrepiece will be different in each one. The first one is this Chamaecyparis, and this one is baby blue. Lovely, soft to the touch, greyish green colour, and this is the dwarf variety. Eventually it can grow up to 3 meters in height, but it would take about 10 to 15 years to reach that potential height. So I will use it in the pot surrounded by other plants for a couple of years until it outgrows this container, and eventually I'll either plant it into the landscape or I'll move it to another larger container. The other centrepiece that I'll use in the second pot is a Euphorbia, and this one is Glacier Blue. Again, this has got greyish green leaves tinged with white around the edges, very velvety to the touch. Again, completely hardy here in the UK, both of which have a rating, RHS rating, down to about -10 to -15, so they're very hardy here in the UK. They'll stay outside all winter. I won't put these under cover. I'm going to add one more shrub to both containers, and this is a Euonymus. And this one is Harlequin. And again, this has lovely creamy white variegated leaves. A lot of people would use this in the ground. It's a low growing shrub, but I'm going to use it in the container because I think it'll add a nice touch, and eventually it'll spill over the front. So that will be added to both containers, as will the other, what I'm calling seasonal plants. This heather, which is Garden Girls White. And also this one here, which is called New Look, Senecio New Look. Very pretty. Both of which, this particular one will not get through the winter, I don't think. I'll have to change that in the spring for something else. The heathers, obviously very hardy, will get through the winter when it's left outside, but the flowers will eventually turn brown, and I'll more than likely change it to something else in the spring, something like primulas or pansies or violas, something like that. So let me plant them both up and you'll see what they look like at the end. Well, that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed all the projects that I've completed, and I'll end with a brief tour of what the white garden looks like now at the end of September. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.